watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, and today Joe Biden begins his first full day as President of the United States.
The fog continues to grow and the visibility continues to get worse. We'll have the latest on visibility numbers from the Skywatch Storm Tracker.
And why the odds are in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. The KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 starts right now. Joe Biden becomes the 46th President of the United States of America. Now he turns his attention to a nation divided and devastated by a pandemic. Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Chris Warner. President Biden's inaugural speech was a call for unity and calm among Americans. President Biden noted that the nation is struggling through the rise of white nationalism, racism, and deep political divisions.
We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes.
History was also made yesterday with the swearing in of Vice President Kamala Harris. She becomes the first Black Asian American woman to hold the office. President Joe Biden got down to business quickly. Just hours after his inauguration, he signed 17 executive actions in the Oval Office. Many of them are reversing some of President Trump's signature policies. That includes stopping construction of the southern border wall and reversing a travel ban on some mainly Muslim countries. President Biden also began the process of rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, and he put the brakes on Donald Trump's withdrawal from the World Health Organization. On the coronavirus, the president imposed a mask mandate on federal property. The new president also named a COVID response coordinator who will oversee the distribution of vaccines and medical supplies. The Biden team said those moves are only a start in his plan to undo some of the previous administration's policies and implement Joe Biden's campaign promises. Some students at Pittsburgh State University are embracing President Biden's inauguration, his message of unity, hoping the country will move forward. The Office of Student Diversity had the inauguration ceremonies on television all day so students could watch between classes. Several students tell us they're excited to see what the new administration does to improve race relations and bring the country together.
It's just exciting to see a change. Hopefully it brings unity. That seemed like that was the main message I got. It seems like we're headed in a good direction. Hopefully we can just continue to improve. But yes, this inauguration was very exciting.
A Neosho, Missouri man dies in a single vehicle wreck last night. It happened around 9, about 6 miles west of Neosho. Missouri Highway Patrol says 40-year-old Jeremiah Durbin was heading west on Old US 60 when his vehicle left the right side of the road, hit a tree, and overturned. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities are looking for a man accused of trying to steal an ATM while on furlough by a judge. The police say Benjamin Whitaker escaped from Montgomery County, Kansas after being released on furlough. He's also a person of interest after police in Parsons found an ATM chained to a pickup truck near the Labette Bank on Main Street. Police say the truck was reported stolen earlier along with 2 guns. Whitaker is considered armed and dangerous. Police say an undisclosed amount of cash was stolen from the ATM. A Joplin business is warning people about a fake Facebook page that is asking for money. The owners of Olive and Fig say there's a fake Facebook page of their business which made a post telling people they could win a gift after they register some personal information. Apparently, people's bank accounts are now being charged.
You just wonder why people end up in those situations where they have to do those things to get money, and they feel like they have to wrong people to do that.
Security experts say it's a good idea to call the number listed on a Facebook page to make sure the page is legit, especially before entering personal information for contests. Missouri Southern's Board of Governors met yesterday to discuss projects around the school, including a plan to repair and reopen the Taylor Performing Arts Center. The board wants the project to be listed as a critical priority and to add the remediation of the balcony stairwell to the project. The board also talked about the possibility of adding new degree programs. Bernie gets a bobblehead. During President Joe Biden's inauguration ceremony Wednesday, an image of Senator Bernie Sanders sitting on a folding chair went viral. Let me see. That apparently inspired the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame to create their latest product, which is a figure of the independent senator from Vermont, complete with mask. Officials with the company say the individually numbered Bernie bobbleheads are expected to be available in May, and they're going to cost $25 each.
Spawned a number of memes from yesterday into this morning that were quite comical.
I have seen a number of those, and you know, the sad thing is I actually watched the majority of the inauguration, but I was working, so my eyes weren't to the TV the whole time, and I'm really sad that at some point I missed this particular image.
I think my favorite one was him bundled up there and the caption, "Couldn't we done this via email?" So I'm glad that everybody's able to find just a little humor in that. Chris, we've got some good news on the fog tracker. Our number in Independence, these are visibility numbers now, growing up to 1.3 miles. At one point in time, it simply read 0.0. It's been so thick there in Independence. Now, we're still below a mile in Chanute and Iola, and so far, southwest Missouri's been pretty good, but we're not out of the fray yet. We'll expect that fog to grow really for the next hour and a half. That's why we've got dense fog advisories for our counties indicated in gray. And that's a pretty elongated time period for an expiration all the way until 11 a.m. Heavy cloud cover throughout. Do stay on the dry side for this Thursday morning. From the Freeman Health System sky camera, pretty comfortable for this time of year. 40 degrees as we find ourselves just about 21 minutes before sunrise. We'll call it 7:28 over Joplin. 40 in Neosho, 31 in Independence, and 36 right now in Nevada as the wind comes in just 5 to 10 miles out of the southwest. Little flip earlier around here meant some cooler temperatures in the northwest. Jet stream has been split on the other side of the Rockies, taking all this moisture down from Texas and kicking it out to the far south of us and then headed toward the mid-Atlantic. Still able to make it up into the mid-50s today. Just going to take a little bit before we get a peak of sunshine there, but a delightful end of the work week as we head into the weekend with temperatures in the high 40s, low 50s. Big developments next week as we get ready to close down January, bringing us everything from rain to a cold front to snow. So, hey, that line right there, take advantage of it. Chris?
Thank you, Michael. Up next, a tool in the fight against COVID-19.
There's a new product that is made in Kansas, and it's helping health experts detect cases of COVID-19. In fact, I am standing in front of a nursing home in Neodesha, Kansas that's already used that product to detect a COVID-positive patient. Details are coming up.
We get some answers from local health officials about the next step in vaccine distribution. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Only the inauguration of a new president, it was the second deadliest day in the coronavirus pandemic so far. President Biden is scheduled to unveil a national COVID strategy today and sign 10 executive orders aimed directly at fighting the coronavirus. As part of the 10 executive orders on tap for today, mask requirements will be extended to planes, trains, and other forms of public transportation. Other goals in the Biden plan include reopening most schools within the next 100 days, as well as taking a closer look at the health disparities in minority communities. There's a new product that's helping healthcare providers fight COVID-19, and the company making it is based in Parsons, Kansas. In fact, the new coronavirus screening tool has already helped prevent an outbreak in a 4-state nursing home. KOAM's Mike Mahoney has the story.
Morningstar Care Homes in Neodesha, Kansas is one of many senior living facilities that's always looking for new ways to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Something that we've never experienced before for sure, and it's been rough, but we've put in many different check-in points and things that we do to ensure their safety.
They've found success and an increased sense of safety by using a new product out of Parsons, Kansas. Sensible Solutions has created a scratch and sniff card that is helping facilities like Morningstar sniff out possible coronavirus cases.
The scratch and sniff tests have shown that people are asymptomatic with every other symptom. They don't have fever, they don't have a cough, they don't have shortness of breath, but they suddenly realize they've lost their sense of smell, or their sense of smell has changed in some way.
Morningstar staff says those cards have already helped them identify an employee with COVID-19.
They were very grateful. The prior day, able to smell, and the day they tested positive, couldn't smell any of it.
Facilities like Morningstar house some of the country's most vulnerable residents. And with these pocket-sized cards preventing a possible coronavirus outbreak, they'll most likely be sticking around until the pandemic is in the rearview mirror.
They saved our residents from a possible horrible situation, and so we support it totally.
In Neodesha, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The Sensible Solutions spokeswoman also says the scratch and sniff cards are cost-effective ways for organizations to screen for COVID-19 because they act as an in-between for actual coronavirus tests. Well, how much do you think a $20 bill is worth? I'd say $20. But this $20 bill is expected to sell at auction for at least $70,000. Why? Because it has a sticker on it. See, back in 2004, an Ohio college student took out some money from an ATM and noticed one of the bills had a Del Monte banana sticker on the front of it. It was overprinted with the serial number of the official U.S. Treasury seal. He put the Del Monte note on eBay, where it sold for roughly $10,000. It was then sold to a collector for around $25,000. The bill eventually made its way to Heritage Auction, which is expected to sell the note on Friday for at least $70,000. So you've got a little time if you want to get on eBay and get ready for this auction or wherever they're going to have it. You can get that $70,000 together, right?
Scrape that together. Well, I'm going to the couch cushions over here in the Skywatch Weather Center right now.
That's a good idea. I need to check my wallet, see if I've got any specially printed bills. I bought some Mega Millions tickets. I don't know if you have, but this is a great investment. And think about it, if you win the whole jackpot, it's only $70,000 for a $20 bill.
Where's that? You say the kid is from Ohio?
Yes, he was.
That's interesting. My first inclination whenever I see a banana and I think about Ohio is Chiquita. I've just found it interesting that it's a Del Monte sticker.
Yeah. What are the odds here? Somebody is trying to infiltrate Ohio, I think is what's going on.
We call those that school up north. We already fought over Toledo. All right, Skywatch Storm Tracker Chris, heavy cloud cover for our Thursday morning, staying on the dry side. Fog beginning to get a little bit better on the far northwest. Numbers rebounding in Independence, still below a mile there in Chanute and Iola. Southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, numbers now dipping. I know that's not a huge dip, but at the same point in time, the fog does continue to grow. Freeman Health System sky camera, 41 degrees is where we sit right now. 34 in Fort Scott, 41 in Miami, only 31 in Independence. Wind just 5 to 10 miles per hour today. Not going to get knocked over like we have been past couple of days. And a dividing line right here, almost a bubble with some warmer temperatures down into the 40s as far as what it feels like compared to 20s up in the northwest. 7:28 official sunrise on the bus stop forecast. Mostly cloudy start for the kiddos. We're going to have to hold off and wait for some sunshine. We will get there, however, this afternoon and be able to make it up into the mid-50s. Seasonable on Friday, back in the 50s on Saturday and Sunday. We'll worry about this mess headed our way later. Get out and enjoy the next 3 days. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll asking if you watched the inauguration yesterday and what you think about the incoming administration. We'll begin our comments with Scott Aldrighetti, who says, I watched. Joe's a good man and I'm American first and always support our president and pray his success. All Americans should love each other, not hate. Rebecca Hoffman says, ready for a new fresh start. We're about to build back better. Tara Sanders says, I didn't watch it. It's going to be Obama 2.0. He's going to reverse everything Trump did. The next 4 years are going to be very dark. However, I was raised to respect the office. If you can't respect the man, Tara says, prayers to America. On our morning Insta poll right now, 55% of you say pessimistic about the incoming administration compared to 44% that say hopeful. You can let your voice be heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Kansas City Chiefs favorites to pull off back-to-back Super Bowl championships. BettingSuperBowl.com says Andy Reid's team 2-1 odds to win Super Bowl 55 that you can watch right here, February 7th, on our sister station on KOAM. 6.5 dozen. You knew KOAM Fox would probably have it on. But in order to even get to the NFL's grand finale, Chiefs have to beat Buffalo Sunday night at home in Arrowhead Stadium. There is concern in KC. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes injured in the previous game, possibly a concussion as he undergoes NFL protocol. No official word if he will be suiting up. Super Bowl Sunday with or without the Chiefs, once again, February 7th, Tampa's Raymond James Stadium. Pitt State's Haven Lander named the Division II National Track and Field Athlete of the Week after winning her first pole vault competition on Saturday. Our own sports director, Jacob Leonard, shows us how it's a great start for Lander, who's looking for national championship number 3 this season.
After the pandemic ended her junior season early, Pitt State's Haven Lander is ready to get back on top.
I definitely, when we got back here, I pushed myself very, very hard, tried to get the motivation back up to get to where I am.
With everything that happened last year, you could go one of two ways. You could lose motivation, or it motivates you even more. And I think she's taken the latter part of it to where she's even more motivated.
Lander is a 2-time national champion in the pole vault. She opened up the indoor season on Saturday with a first-place finish in her first event in nearly a year.
It definitely boosted my confidence a little bit. I was honestly having a little bit of troubles in the beginning of the year, kind of building that confidence back up, because obviously we haven't competed in so long.
Lander cleared 13 feet, 3.75 inches on Saturday. That mark is the best in Division II this season and automatically qualifies her for nationals at the end of the year.
It allows us to focus a little bit more technically, not have to worry about doing certain things, and we can kind of go back to making sure we're getting ourselves ready.
Now that I know that I'm going to be able to go to nationals, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going back and showing that what happened last year doesn't matter. I'm still the same me, and I'm going to jump as best as I can.
For her performance, she earned national recognition as the Division II Track and Field Athlete of the Week, something she hopes is the first step on her way back to the top.
Seeing especially that was the first female athlete to ever get it for Pitt State, it was awesome. Just seeing that I was the one that was chosen for it when there's so many other amazing athletes out there, it just makes me really grateful that I'm able to do what I can do.
It's special just for a Pitt State athlete. Anytime we can get the exposure and our kids do well, it's great to see it, and that's what we're proud of.
Definitely makes me hungry for more and makes me want to achieve more things like that.
Next meet this weekend on the road at Washburn. Be right back after this.
It's time to honor today's 4th State hero. Corporal Michael LaPointe joined the United States Army in 2007 and served in Iraq. His hometown, Commerce, Oklahoma. We're proud to salute Michael LaPointe, a 4th State hero. Well, states have begun moving into the next steps of their COVID-19 vaccine distribution plans, but plenty of people are wondering how they'll know when they're eligible to receive the shot. So we spoke to officials and providers in Missouri on what you need to know. Missouri announced it was moving into the next steps of COVID vaccine distribution. However, there's not any vaccine available yet, but that hasn't stopped the Joplin Health Department from starting to make plans.
We're waiting on the vaccine. Once we get that, we will put out a series of press releases letting everybody know where the site is, what groups are currently eligible at that time, how to sign up, so on.
The Newton County Health Department doesn't have any vaccine yet either, but they're hopeful some will be in soon.
We have been able to make our first order. We have ordered over 400 doses of vaccine and don't know how many of those we will get. We're hoping to get the full allotment and don't know the exact date of when we'll receive it. I hope that we'll receive it next week.
Newton County has also been making plans for distribution.
So the public can now register to receive the vaccination by going to our website, newtoncountyhealth.org. And we have a space there that you can send an email to administration.
Then they play the waiting game for the vaccine to arrive.
Once we receive the vaccine, those who are registered, we will make phone calls to let them know that we have the vaccine and here's the date that we're offering you that vaccine.
Missouri also has a number of registered distributors, which include pharmacy chains like Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS, and locally owned pharmacies like Stone's Corner. They also have an online registration option.
So as soon as we have the vaccine, we will be contacting people to let them know that we have the vaccine, we'd like to get you scheduled, and then give them time slots so that we can efficiently move people in and out. And so they will know as soon as it becomes available.
Pharmacist and owner Chad Isaac says there's an alternative if you can't get online.
You know, if somebody is unable to go to our website, they're more than welcome to call us. We can walk through that. We can do those steps for them so that we can put in their information and they'll know that they're on our list and will be contacted when it's time.
Newton County has a similar offline option. And we'll have links to contact information and resources regarding vaccines in this story on our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. Another half hour of news and weather just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, America's drinking problem.
The pandemic has led to an increase in alcohol consumption. I'm Marianne Rafferty with that story, plus tips on how to curb your drinking habits coming up.
And what's different about the latest round of PPP loans? You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A Neosho, Missouri man dies in a single vehicle wreck last night. It happened at around 9, about 6 miles west of Neosho. The Missouri Highway Patrol says 40-year-old Jeremiah Durbin was heading west on Old US 60 when his vehicle left the right side of the road, hit a tree, and overturned. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities are looking for a man accused of trying to steal an ATM while on furlough by a judge. Police say Benjamin Whitaker escaped from Montgomery County, Kansas after being released on furlough. He's also a person of interest after police in Parsons found an ATM chained to a pickup truck near the Labette Bank on Main Street. Now, police say the truck was reported stolen earlier along with 2 guns. Whitaker is considered armed and dangerous. Police say an undisclosed amount of money was stolen from the ATM. Coffeyville, Kansas is mourning the loss of Aaron Flores, the head football coach of Coffeyville Community College. Officials say Flores passed away from COVID-19 complications. He was 50 years old. Nursing students at Northeast Tech in the town of Kansas, Oklahoma could soon have an easier path to a degree through NEO A&M College in Miami. Northeast Tech and NEO signed a memorandum of understanding today to develop a fast-track nursing program. It will allow graduates of Northeast Tech to pursue an associate nursing degree from NEO at Northeast Tech's campus.
Worked through all the bugs of the first program and got it off the ground. And we started with 1 student, and then 3 students, then 5 students. We're going to have a ready bucket of students that are really interested to start right off.
The partnership would allow for 10 students to be part of the Fast Track program annually. Folks in Pittsburgh yesterday were able to get some good chili as they donated blood for the Red Cross. It was the Battle of the Badges. It's an annual chili cook-off between the Pittsburgh Police and Fire Departments, which doubles as a blood drive. Now, because of the pandemic, this year's event was by appointment only.
And to work with the people who, are the ones who protect us and, save our lives every day, it's terrific. It's good for their morale too. And we have a little fun, challenging each other to see which one can make the worst chili.
The blood drive and chili cook-off will continue today from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The winning department in the cook-off gets a trophy and, more importantly, bragging rights. Well, rare snowfall in the Sahara Desert. A layer of ice and snow blanketed the desert sands in northwest Algeria last week. Temperatures in the region dropped to about 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Winter weather is a rarity in this part of the Sahara, with snow falling only 3 other times in the last 42 years. Back in 2017, a blizzard left about 3 feet of snow in this part of the country. Very unusual to experience snow in a desert, and I'm certainly hopeful that we're not going to see 3 feet of snow anytime
We
soon.
got a while before we see any of the flakes fall from the sky. They are truly amazing pictures. Sometimes we forget about the altitude at the entrance into the Sahara Desert and how that's actually in the Atlas Mountains, which is why that temperature has a tendency to fall so much, but the upper atmosphere does remain dry for obviously the majority of the time. Like you said, only the fourth time in, what, 4 decades, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll
Pretty
point
intense,
out that the previous couple times have been recently. Kind of interesting as far as that goes. But yeah, kind of a very large elevated area. It's very, very cold there at night anyway. I know we think about desert and we think about heat immediately, but like I said, there's a place in Algeria right there. It's known as the gateway to the Sahara, and it's actually extremely elevated. All right, Chris, our fog tracker is getting better in Independence. We're nearing the 2-mile mark, but we've yet to see any movement as far as Chanute and Iola increasing. Miami been steady lately. In southwest Missouri, visibility numbers have remained on the positive side. We've seen expansion on the dense fog advisory. It was originally these 6 counties in southeast Kansas. Now we're seeing it push down to the southwest, actually moving south of the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. Heavy cloud cover, staying on the dry side though, and really our temperatures not too bad for an early January morning. Freeman Hill Sky System. Cameron and Joplin sitting at 41 degrees. Cooler out to the west, 32 in Neodesha and Independence. Speaking of Neosho, already at 40 right there, along with Carthage and Anderson. Miami and Grove both at 41. Not going to have to fight the wind today, just 5 to 10 miles per hour. And a jockey coming out of southwest, south, and puts a little bit of a wind chill in there. Still sitting in the high 20s as far as the H Center and Iola goes, but everybody else pretty much right on par with where the temperatures are. Going to be cloudy for the kids. Be careful of them out. You know where the bus stops are. They're not, they're young. We don't expect them to pay attention in the fog. So let's all us do our duties. Big system really moving from Texas all the way to the mid-Atlantic, stays to the far south of us. A little cause for concern for their creeks and streams, not widespread flooding by any means. And we stay on the dry side not only for Thursday, but Friday and Saturday as well. Now we've got changes that begin on Sunday that are going to be rain, a cold front, even some snow like Chris and I were talking about, but really for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday, it's going to be absolutely delightful. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. KOAM News Now Facebook page this morning and our Insta poll asking if you watched the inauguration and how you feel about the incoming Biden administration. We'll begin our comments with Mike Osterman. Mike writes, if I can get his name out there, Mike writes, definitely did not watch. I feel that if they could have been transparent about the vote counting, Trump supporters would have accepted defeat. Amanda Napier says, no, did not watch, and I am fearful for what's to come. Will I act like the liberals did for the past 4 years? No, I'll get up every day, go to work, my tail off, and pray that what I see about his tax plan doesn't take effect because as someone who is self-employed, I cannot afford 50% taxes. On the Insta poll this morning, right now, 56% of you saying you're pessimistic about the incoming administration compared to 43, that say hopeful. You can make your voice heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Now, back to Chris Warner.
Thank you, Michael. Well, if you found yourself having a few more drinks than usual lately, you're not alone. Data shows alcohol consumption has increased during the lockdowns, especially among women. Marianne Rafferty explains the reasons behind the trend, plus tips on how to curb your drinking habits.
The pandemic is driving more people to drink. During the early months of stay-at-home orders, Americans sharply increased their alcohol consumption, with heavy drinking among women rising 41%. As the pandemic worsens, health experts say it's a good time to ask yourself, are you drinking too much?
Have you ever had 4 drinks or more in a day for women or 5 drinks or more for men? And that's for us is considered high-risk drinking.
Many people use alcohol as a coping mechanism for stress, anxiety, and loneliness, but excessive alcohol can actually make those mental health problems even worse, leading to a feedback loop that can have long-term health consequences, both emotional and physical.
If you're coming to a point where you can't cut back on drinking and you're spending a lot of time either recovering from alcohol or thinking about alcohol, These are huge red flags that, you should try to address.
Addiction psychologists recommend thinking about the role alcohol plays in your life. If you want to restart, try taking a break from drinking and find alternative things to do. Millions of people give up alcohol as part of Dry January to start the year off right. But as the end of the month draws near, doctors are worried people will revert back to their old drinking habits.
There needs to be some kind of moderation with what you're doing in December, no different than what you would do any other month of the year.
It's not unusual for people to turn to alcohol during traumatic times. Events like 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, and other catastrophes have led to an increase in drinking. When we come back, how the stock market reacted to Joe Biden's inauguration. Wall Street hit new record highs on Wednesday. The Dow jumped 257 points. The Nasdaq gained 260. The S&P 500 added 52. The major indexes steadily rose throughout the day as President Biden's inauguration went off without any security issues. Traders are hoping the new Democratic leadership in the White House and in Congress will deliver economic relief to Americans struggling from the coronavirus pandemic. Shares of Alibaba jumped 5% on Wednesday after co-founder Jack Ma made his first public appearance in months. The billionaire disappeared from public view after criticizing the Chinese government in October. Video published by the state media shows Ma talking virtually to teachers in rural China. Amazon wasted no time reaching out to the new Biden administration to get the coronavirus vaccine for its essential workers. In a letter to President Biden Wednesday, Amazon says it stands ready to assist in getting 100 million Americans vaccinated in the first 100 days. But the online retail giant also wants its 800,000 U.S. employees moved up on the priority list to get the vaccine. In October, Amazon said more than 19,000 of its frontline U.S. employees have been tested positive or have been presumed positive for coronavirus. In the letter to the new president, Amazon says it is prepared to help the administration address the pandemic, but the exact details are unclear and there's been no response yet from the new president's COVID team. Well, help is on the way for millions of small businesses still struggling to make ends meet. The Paycheck Protection Program is back open for small businesses, and for many entrepreneurs who have adapted to surviving the pandemic, applying this time around will be different. Mandy Gaither has more.
Applications now open. The Payment Protection Program is back, and that means small businesses can once again apply for a new, potentially forgivable federal loan.
We have worked with the PPPs last time. We will probably look into it again this time, absolutely. It's a big help, no question about it. We're thrilled that it's out there.
This time around, PPP reopened with some key changes. The maximum loan is now $2 million compared to the previous $10 million. You can get a first loan if you haven't received one before, or even a second loan. However, not every business is eligible for a loan this time. Businesses must show they lost revenue by at least 25% in any quarter of 2020 compared to the same quarter of 2019. For hard-hit restaurants and businesses across the country, relief can't come soon enough.
It's been hard for a lot of small businesses. I think small music venues in particular have been hit really, really hard.
This new round of applications is possible due to the latest COVID relief package signed into law in December. That legislation included $284 billion for additional lending to eligible businesses, including those that already received a loan months ago. The bill includes measures aimed at making loans more available to micro businesses.
We've managed to survive for 9 months already, which is to itself pretty amazing.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Paycheck Protection Program reopened on Monday, January 11th for some businesses and will be slowly expanded. The deadline to apply for all the new loans is March 31st. History buffs may want to delay plans to go to Disney World. The park closed its Hall of Presidents attraction in Orlando's Magic Kingdom. The closure is only temporary. It's so technicians can add an animatronic version of President Joe Biden. It's an original attraction, which has been part of Disney World since the park opened in 1971. Joe Biden is enjoying a relatively speedy inclusion into the happiest place on earth. It took Disney almost a year after former President Donald Trump's inauguration to add him. We'll be right back with What the Tech? It's time for What the Tech? Well, here we go. An old iPhone feature may be making a comeback. Apple is reportedly thinking about bringing Touch ID back. The fingerprint sensor went away in 2017 as Apple started phasing out iPhone home buttons. But the tech giant is now testing a version of Touch ID that would live under the iPhone's display, according to Bloomberg. Face ID has frustrated users over the past year as they've worn masks during the pandemic. But the next generation of iPhones would give users the option of how they'd like to unlock their phones. A Georgia city is using cameras to monitor mask wearing in an effort to help fight the spread of COVID-19. Peachtree Corners has set up special cameras in buildings like City Hall. The high-tech devices aren't being used to track individuals, but rather see whether people are social distancing and wearing face coverings while in public. Authorities believe this information will help them better understand people's habits so they can develop new strategies to combat the pandemic. Legal experts are now weighing in, explaining how the city can record you without breaking any laws.
Is it invasion of privacy? Like I feel invaded? Sure, maybe you feel personally invaded, but is it legal? Is it an illegal invasion of privacy is the question, and it's not an illegal invasion of privacy.
Officials insist the data from the cameras is private and secure. They stress anyone caught not standing 6 feet apart or not wearing a mask won't face any charges or even a fine.
I can understand people being worried about privacy and things of that. What's the difference between that and a normal security camera that you would have at a courthouse?
I am not completely certain.
There's President Biden.
It is President Biden. Look at him. He's looking very presidential right there. My guess is they're just adding some additional ones just to track things. Like, you know, instead of having maybe one that looks down a whole hallway or something, you can get a better view and maybe just, because it did say they want to gauge what people's habits are, so they can plan for the future or whatever.
They already have cameras in these places. I was just surprised when people were saying it's an invasion of privacy. Folks, you're already on. You walk into the gas station, you're on camera.
I can't remember. I managed the gas station. I can't remember how many cameras we had, and the building was, our studio's bigger than the gas station I managed, and we had so many cameras on that place. You know, it's not invasion of privacy. It's in case you decide to come in and throw down.
I wouldn't want to throw down with you, brother. Trust me. Our weather almanac for today. This is pretty interesting, Chris, right here. We almost have reached our average high for January 21. Just of note, we're about 0.2 of an inch above where we'd normally be 21 days into the first month of the year. Our historic average for precipitation, usually about 1.3 inches at this point in time. Fog is getting better out in Independence. Chanute and Iola, however, have not budged. I love this right here. We're seeing a rebound already in Miami. And so the closer that we get to 8:30, 9 o'clock means we may not see the big development over in southwest Missouri like what we saw in southeast Kansas, and it's no surprise there that these counties in gray are in dense fog advisories. It's pretty impressive expiration time all the way until 11 a.m. Overcast beginning to our Thursday from the Freeman Health System sky camera. Temperature has not budged, sitting at 41 degrees, 33 in Parsons, 40 in Neosho. Let's roll 37 in Nevada. Just light breeze, 5 to 10 miles per hour today. Nothing to worry about. Skywatch Storm Tracker keeps all the precipitation down to the deep southern portion of the United States, and even their flooding risk very limited. 3 consecutive days of very nice temperatures. Rain kicks in on Sunday. Follow that up with a cold front. We'll see that precipitation flip over to some snow. Chilly into January. All the more reason to take advantage of what we have headed into the weekend. Be back. Wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Joe Biden begins his first full day in the White House today as the nation's 46th president. In his inauguration speech yesterday, President Biden focused on the need for unity after the U.S. Capitol riots and as the nation struggles with the coronavirus pandemic. In the Oval Office, the president signed more than a dozen executive actions, including a nationwide mandate requiring masks on federal property. He also signed an action calling for the U.S. to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord. The Senate confirmed Avril Haines, the president's pick for Director of National Intelligence. And some encouraging news, a preliminary study shows the Pfizer vaccine appears to be effective against the highly contagious UK COVID strain that's already been detected in the U.S. Other encouraging news, we've got some nice weather coming up.
It's not too bad at all. Even with our overcast beginning to Thursday, we're slowly seeing the fog numbers begin to improve, and we're still able to make it up into the mid-50s here later on this afternoon. Seasonable temperatures on Friday, back to the 50s on Saturday. Then we got the big changes that come in on Sunday that begin with rain, followed by a cold front that'll present us with some snow throughout the middle of next week.
All right. Well, here's an excuse to hold your family, friends, loved ones, and your Michael Hayslip a little tighter. Thursday is National Hugging Day.
Wait, how are we supposed to pull this off now?
You know, now you've got an excellent point there. So, okay, hold on. I see it here. It's going to tell you. We realize that it might be a little difficult during the pandemic, so give an extra embrace or two to those living in your home. Haha. See, I don't have to hug you then.
Bingo.
So hugging, of course, is a universal gesture of love, and science backs up what we already know about them, that hugging really does make us feel better. So if you're feeling a little down in the dumps, need a little pick-me-up, just go hug it out.
With someone who lives in your house.
You don't live in my house, though. You want to come live in my house?
Virtual hug.
I think that's what we should do.
Your wife would not appreciate me. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.